Hello everyone. Very good morning. Namaskar, adab, sat sri akal ji साਰਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ. And I guess namaste is the best thing at the moment, especially not shaking hands. Here we are and in our special live session, which is majorly for international students with Dr. Charith Sriram, who's a specialist in general internal medicine at McGill University Health Center. Welcome to the live stream.
Thank you, Johnny, for welcoming me.
I know we have been planning for this from quite a while, but we never knew we will be doing it in such a scenario where we have this corona thing all over the place. And guys, that's the reason why this is the you can join us on this live. Already, a lot of people have already joined, so we have a lot of questions that we are getting. The first and foremost thing is let's talk about a little bit about the about your journey being a doctor, and now you're in education field as well. So what all general roles and responsibility you being a doctor have, whether you are practicing at McGill University Health Center, or whichever part of your career.
So, Johnny, I mean, I have the privilege of having two roles.
Yep.
Well, my main role for the last 8 years has been as a specialist in adult medicine. It's called internal medicine, and I take care of patients who are very sick and have a lot of chronic disease. So I take care of them in the outpatient department or the OPD and inside the hospital at our network of university centers. So I work in internal medicine, and I work in something called intensive care or critical care, where the sickest people who need life support are cared for. And then all at the same time, I'm also the vice president of Canada College here in Montreal, and we have a lot of local students and we have a lot of international students that I care for and make sure that they're well directed here at our campus.
And one thing I just wanted to understand, like guys, if you haven't met him so far, so yes, Dr. Charith is also Vice President of Canada College, as he mentioned. So we will be taking questions both from the educational sector as well as from the health side, right? So first of all, I want to see a lot of students when they're coming to Montreal, they see it's very hard to find health services. Sometimes they end up waiting for 24 to 48 hours in hospitals if they have some kind of sickness, or if they are not feeling well. What is the best way? What should be the first point of contact if someone is not feeling well, not just because of the virus, but in general as well?
So, for most students, right, when they come to Canada, Canada has a first-class healthcare system, especially Quebec. Our healthcare system is considered in the top 5 in the world. So here in Canada, you will be well taken care of, right? What's very important for students, I want to emphasize this, is prior to coming to Canada, until you become a resident of Canada, you must have health insurance.
Health insurance.
This is a vital thing that all students must have, okay? Because as you know, healthcare can get expensive. Right?
Really expensive then.
If
it's good, it's expensive as well.
Yeah, in some ways, yes.
Yeah.
So that's very important, right? And there are many different options for students to explore. So that's number one, okay? Be prepared. For the vast majority of students, you're going to be fine, right? You're young, you're healthy, you're able to, you're not going to have any major issues.
Yep.
But, since we're dealing with a very special time, it's not sort of business as usual, I would say. People have to be aware of the services. So, let's say, removing coronavirus out of this equation, let's look at, let's say I have a health issue and I want to get some care. Let's say I'm a young girl here in Montreal. I may have a women's health issue.
Yep.
And I want to get some care. So Montreal and Quebec has a system called the CLSC system. Okay, these are government-run clinics.
Clinics.
Okay, and each neighborhood will have one CLSC.
True.
This is considered your gateway to entering the healthcare system. I'm talking about non-urgent things, right?
Yep.
If you broke your arm, your leg got injured, or while you're working part-time, or any kind of other injury, you've been into a car accident,
Yeah.
you call 911, okay? And then they will take you to the emergency room, okay? Like if you're having trouble breathing,
or fever or those type of things.
so it's okay to go to the emergency room for those kinds of things. Fever is a specific thing. Fever without breathing problems, you can go to the clinics, okay?
True.
And during this time, when if you think you have any of these viral symptoms, runny nose, cough, muscle pains, these are flu-like symptoms. But this
True.
flu can be the same as the virus, the coronavirus, right? Then you must call the government hotline, which is the 1877 number that we're going to post.
Absolutely.
Description.
Guys, we're gonna post the number, which is 1877. In case if you have any flu-like symptoms, you can definitely contact us. Sorry about that. Contact on that number that we are giving you. We will be putting that number in the description. Just let us know if you can hear us very clearly. Otherwise, we'll put the voice a little bit up. I know there are some comments coming up. Just let us know, like if there is any particular type of issue you are facing, or if you can hear us clearly, and we'll continue the conversation from there. We have a question. Anyone knows any update regarding May intake of Canada College, whether they are going to provide classes or whether those classes will be deferred? Can we take that question?
Sure. Let me answer that question very broadly right now because the news is changing every day.
True.
Here at Canada College, as you know, we're following all the ministry guidelines from Public Health and the Quebec Education Ministry.
Yep.
For the moment, the campus is closed until we get further notice, okay? And this is really to protect our students.
Absolutely.
Okay. As for the May intake, we're optimistic about it, but we still need the go-ahead from the education minister whether we can have in-person classes. That being said, we're working very aggressively and quickly to set up our online classes. So for students here in Montreal or for prospective students, we will be informing you about when those online classes will be starting, that you're not going to get too much displaced. But I'm going to ask our students, please, to be understanding and patient during this difficult time.
True. And one more thing I just wanted to confirm, like especially with the insurance thing, is it important like they need to buy insurance before boarding a plane from India? Because a lot of colleges, not just one particular college, we're talking about in general. This is the question a lot of students have a lot of time. Should they get their insurance before taking their flight from India, or should they buy after coming to Canada? I think like what's better for them?
You know, I'm coming from a different background as a health practitioner. Insurance is one of these things you never want to use.
True.
But if something happens, you're so happy that you have it.
True.
Correct? So it gives you peace of mind, right? And I understand it's a cost for students and they want to make sure they're not paying for something. Everybody
that
wants...
they don't need it.
Yeah, that's it, because you're paying for something and then you're hoping that you never use it, right?
True.
That's insurance, right? Me, I would recommend, just because we're in a difficult time, and I think in general it's important to have insurance
Even
before.
while traveling, yeah.
You can apply. There are good Canadian providers of insurance. True. Obtain it, come here, you're secure. It'll also give your parents a lot of peace of mind.
Peace of mind, yep.
I think that's really important, right?
And the other thing, as we were talking about going back to the healthcare side, we were talking about CLSC. Guys, CLSCs are the clinics. I know we haven't mentioned that before in our videos as well. CLSCs are the clinics over here, like government clinics, which are there in every neighborhood. In Park Extension, in LaSalle, in every neighborhood, we have CLSC. For any kind of challenge that you face, you don't have to wait so much if you have a normal fever, or as he said, any kind of problems, whether girls or guys have, just go and it's easy. It's just you have to go early in the morning around 6 to 7 o'clock. You have to, sometimes there are queues sometimes, so you have to go a little bit early. But then there are also clinics, if you have health insurance, there are also clinics which are private clinics, right? They are what we call walk-in clinics.
Correct.
Like Force Medic, and there are so many, so you can just actually go into them. Like it's just you have to go in the morning and you have to sit, you have to wait, and you get your turn as well in that case.
Correct. Yes. I mean, I'll be honest, for students, the clinics may charge you if you don't have health insurance. If you have health insurance, then we'll charge your insurance provider. But that's why I don't want any students to get into difficulty, because if you don't pay those bills, right, that creates a problem for you in the future. When you're applying for jobs, your credit scores will go down and things like that if you have all these unpaid bills.
True.
So you're setting up your future here in Canada. So make sure your records are nice and clean and things like that. And you don't have these undue hardships that you'll take on. If you have a big bill to pay,
True.
and you want to then pay your tuition and things like that, you're working just to pay off other bills. It becomes a big stress.
True. And also, one thing I just wanted to understand, like how, because a lot of students are coming new, that some of them have just landed on 12th of March, some are coming on 15th. Now the borders are again open for international students, those who have, their visas before 18th of March, their work visa or their student visa, they can still enter Canada, right, at the moment. So what do you suggest for those students? Like, do you think so? Like, they should be, what precautions they should take? Because a lot of them have this, urge to go out because they came new to a new country, and that's their dream country, right? So what do you want to say to them?
It's natural to feel that way. It's
Yeah.
very hard to distance ourselves. We're trying as much as possible to do that, but it creates a lot of anxiety for students. As you know, for visitors coming to Canada right now, even on student visa or migrant workers who are coming
Yeah.
to Canada, they're asked to isolate themselves for 14 days, right?
Yeah.
And that's really to protect yourself and other people, right? Because you're traveling through all these world airports, people are getting sick.
Yeah.
And the vast majority of you will not have any symptoms, right? It can take between most people will have symptoms within 5 days, and up to 14 days. That's why the 14-day thing is so important.
So important.
Right? So come here, get settled a little bit. Look, if you're coming as an international student right now, you're not having orientation, you're not having
any work or
classes going
anything
on like
yep.
that. You're not going to be able to work anyways right now. Most of our businesses are really slowed down a lot. So just take that time to get yourself settled in your place, okay? You can go out very
And
seldomly
essentials, yeah.
for
Very
essentials,
important things.
for essentials, okay? But it's not about socializing and meeting lots of new people, okay? That'll happen, it'll happen. Just give us some time.
Give us some time.
Give us some time.
All right, so we'll take some of the questions that we have from different team members. This is related to education, actually. We have a question. One of the students wanted to know, like, can an art student take early childhood education? What are the things like normally your team look into when you are, giving them an opportunity? For example, someone has studied history, geography, economics, or something like that, and in their bachelor's degree, but they want to study early childhood education over here in Canada College. Mm-hmm. So what are their options?
Well, most people know what the criteria are to apply, right? So,
yeah.
And students from most countries in Southeast Asia qualify under the Study Direct Stream
True.
Program, right? So you require an IELTS score, you require a high school diploma, that's very important.
Minimum.
Passing grades, right?
Yes.
All those things are required, and then there's some basic finances that you have to demonstrate. And then the important thing is, let's say if you're applying on your own, or let's say you're applying through a student agency type partner, you have to craft a good story, essentially.
True.
Right? A genuine story.
True.
Because you have to then demonstrate to your immigration officer, right, or visa officer, that you're a genuine student, right?
True.
And it makes sense, right? Where people will struggle is if you have let's say an engineering background, and you choose a field that's very
different than engineering.
Let's say you choose, I want to become a chef.
Yeah.
You see there will be like a disconnect, right? So then it's natural to ask the question, what's your
They will not be very convinced to
Correct.
let you come and study in a different country altogether,
so
right?
just be genuine about it, right? It makes sense. If you studied nursing in India and you've been
And
a
you're
nurse,
coming.
And you're coming, early childhood education makes a lot of sense because it's like a para healthcare type of
True.
service.
We'll take one more question that we just got. Samar Singh is asking, I have a global health insurance, so will it be right if global health insurance, will it be right to come with that insurance instead of taking another insurance? Now, global health insurance, like, what do you think? Like, what does that mean? Do you think so? Like, he should confirm if it's valid in Canada, like, because sometimes these terms are very, gray.
Okay. What's very important is to really make sure you understand what your policy, what it covers and what it doesn't cover. So every
True.
policy has what we call exclusions, right?
True.
So travel insurance is very different than health insurance for a student, right? That's a very
Guys, please make a note of it. Like, travel insurance is absolutely different than health insurance. When you buy health insurance, it has to be health insurance, right?
Correct. And then we have products in Canada. There's multiple products that are affordable that students can then inquire about once they get here. You can even do it from India. So I'm asking a lot of our partners to please ask your students to sign up in advance. It's worth
True.
it.
It's worth it.
Just peace of mind. Because when you come here in a new place, it's you have enough pressures on your plate. You just
True.
need to know that if something happens,
It will be taken care of.
right, then you'll be fine. Okay.
True. And one, as Samar Singh was asking, like, about this question about the global, just check if that insurance that you have is also covered in Canada. That's it. If they are covering all the health things in Canada and you have the proper reference numbers for that, I guess then it's fine. Otherwise, it's better to take something from a Canadian provider who's responsible here as well, right? Instead of that.
Correct. Yeah.
And one more thing I just wanted to ask, a lot of questions people have is about sometimes Canada College as well. Like, they have these questions a lot of time. They want to know, like, are we registered as a DLI, or are we registered with the Quebec Ministry? Are we authorized to get postgraduate work permit if we genuinely finish off the program? So can you throw some light on that as well?
Absolutely. I think a lot of times there's a lot of misinformation in the market, right?
Yep.
I know students like to verify a lot, and that's a really good thing, I think. And you should try to go through trusted sources like check Johny Hans' video channel.
Thank you so much.
No, it's a great service that you're doing. So yes, number one, Designated Learning Institute, DLI. That's there. You can check the Government of Canada websites.
Yes.
To convince yourself. They'll post the link for that. Number two, all our Quebec Ministry of Education licenses are all up to date.
Yep.
Everything is active. And postgraduate work permit. We have a lot of success stories that we can share with you if you're interested.
Sure. Guys, post any queries that you have related to postgraduate work permit for Canada College. Definitely will share some of the success stories eventually. Then another question, which is something that Doctor, you can guide. Ovai Gaurav is asking, which college or colleges are best for medical stream courses in general in Montreal? Can you suggest them a little bit, because you're from medical stream and they genuinely want to know from you?
Yeah, so for medical courses in Montreal, it all depends on the level that they're going. So if they're looking at the university level, for instance, the universities in Montreal are excellent. So there's McGill University, there's the French university system, Université de Montréal. Concordia has some health-related programs as well.
True.
In biology and basic sciences. So from that sector, it's very strong, I think. And then as you go down, let's say one level below that is the college systems, right?
Okay.
So there are many public colleges.
Yeah.
These are called the CEGEPs that
Understand.
you've heard about. And many of them have programs like nursing, technical programs in various technical fields. And they are mostly usually 3-year programs.
True.
That they have. So they're excellent programs, and they can lead you towards university as well.
Understand. So how long is the cycle of this medical courses? For example, someone is coming in medical courses, because people compare it with the Indian system, right? They think this is how we will go from one step to the other.
Yeah.
But reality is that the medical system in Canada is a little bit different. I'm sure a lot of our students who are watching us will get advantage of it. What is actually this system like after they finish off their medical studies in Sijab, then they go to university. How long does it take for them to get into profession?
Okay, so let's take a nurse for instance,
Yes.
right? Let's make a very specific example. Let's
Guys,
say,
nursing people should focus attention on
Alright.
this one.
so let's say you're a nurse, you've studied, you have experience, you have practice, right? Let's say you already have a lot of practice. You could come here, you may not be, let's say you immigrate, maybe not as a student, but something else, another class of immigrants, right? You can then get an equivalency with the Order of Nurses of Quebec. You can get evaluated. Maybe you have to do about a year of studies. You can get integrated into the workforce very quickly.
True.
Those are for people with lots of experience. If you're entering the field, maybe you don't have much experience, you want to retrain because you want to get a good sense of how the Canadian system works, then you'll do, let's say, a 3-year program at the CJAP, right? Or an undergraduate degree at the university.
True.
So that's usually about 3 years, right?
3 years.
3 years of training, you get internships, a lot of hands-on experience. And then what happens is then you get licensed. You write a licensing exam.
Yeah.
You pass the exams, and then you're able to practice. You get a job. Especially as nurses, healthcare fields are very popular nowadays.
And you get work chances to work in public sector as well.
And it's very meaningful. You get to work, you get to care for people. You're doing a really great service to the community, and you have a very steady job. That's job security is number one in health.
Health sector.
Yeah.
Like how well is now it's like a personal professional question. How well is the earning in this field? I know, like, as we talk about the service side, but along with that, like, sometimes a lot of students are inquisitive about how is the earning factor, especially for nurses, or if students boys or girls are getting into medical field.
I think the salaries are very competitive. I would say, depending on which field, but they have like a placement rate after graduate of about 90%, which is amazing.
Which is very good, yeah.
Which is very high. The salaries, I think, can start from anywhere, let's say if you're a nurse, very basic nurse to more advanced nursing, it can be somewhere between $20 to $40 per hour. So they're very competitive salaries.
Very competitive salaries.
Yeah.
And then definitely, they are always in demand, especially in Canada. It's always in
you're
healthcare
mobile.
sector.
We're always looking for nurses all the time, and doctors and other healthcare professionals.
One more thing, like from the we'll pick some over here. Like it's the same question they're asking, like if the courses in Canada College will be deferred further or not. So. Let me just take one more question. Navpreet Tami is asking, is ECE program relevant to non-medical students, like students, those who have some other stream in their 10+2 or what we call in high school in India, can they opt for early childhood education?
I think the answer is yes. They can absolutely apply for the program. It's just very important that they demonstrate how it's going to help them and how they want to study, and that's the main criteria, right? Because we have big demand for people working in that field.
Childhood education,
absolutely.
And plus, I guess at the moment it is in PEQ as well.
Correct, as you know, it's a PEQ.
So you get like further, it becomes easy. Business administration. Now, Gurpreet wants to know business administration course go day after BCA. Someone has done bachelor's of computer applications. So can they opt for business administration program, and what are the scope of business administration program in Canada at the moment?
It's a very popular course, business administration program, especially here. I think it's our most popular program at the current time. I think the profile fits for us. Having a IT background, adding business knowledge, employers are very eager for that kind of thing. And you're going to see after this crisis settles down a little bit, people are looking for talented people with this kind of profile.
That's true. That's true. And another important aspect is like about the job search. How do you like? Can you give us like a little bit of ideas? Because with the overall being in the education sector, Can you let students know like how exactly they should start job search? Like if they are studying 2 days a week, right, and then they have all the rest of the time available, what all things can they do side by side to make them job ready?
So the most, I think, very important for students is one, look at your attitude, right? I think number one, think of be motivated, right? Enthusiastic, show
Yep.
that you're hungry. Okay, I like to say that.
Yep.
Those are three things. So that's on your side.
True.
And then the other practical things you have to do. Write a cover letter and a CV. Okay? Basic CV, and we have a lot of resources at the college where we can help students craft their
prepare,
CV, write a cover letter. And in fact, here at Canada College, we have dedicated professionals who are just helping students, one, with their internships, and those same people are also helping our students find part-time work
Part-time work.
with our network of corporate partners.
Wow.
So that's the kind of service we like to offer our students. As you know, I would say 90+% of students are working part-time.
So it's like the skills that are developed while studying, which help them to get jobs.
Correct. And
Or like find out their
because
work.
our courses are very flexible at the college, we want our students to work, support themselves, and get on the job experience.
On-job experience.
That's it.
And experience makes a lot of difference. So one more thing, before we wrap up the conversation, from the health side, what are the few tips you really want to give to all the students who just arrived in Montreal or who are international students in any college? What are the key things they should keep in mind, especially in this time of virus? How can they make sure like they are safe and they are, supporting each other by not, spreading the virus further?
Okay. Guys, stay connected, but stay connected virtually. Okay.
True.
Number one. Okay. You have to be a little bit isolated from a lot of person-to-person contact. You know that, right? This will save lives, okay? And it will protect yourselves, okay?
True.
Nobody wants to get sick. You feel horrible for 1 week, right? And then if you go spread that virus to somebody else, it doesn't make us feel good, right?
Yeah, that's true.
That's
And everyone does not have the same type of immune system too. Someone can get really serious.
Social responsibility. For those who are coming here, let's say you may already have a network of, your
Friends and everyone,
Yeah,
family
that's it.
members.
all your aunties and uncles are all here with you here in Montreal.
Yeah.
Do one thing, give a little bit of distance, but call them every day.
Yeah.
Connect with the senior citizen every day, and that's a really nice thing to do. Okay,
True.
especially have that network. Take care of yourselves. It's a good time to learn new things, reading, online courses and things like that.
True.
There is like a silver lining that you can work on yourself a little bit, right?
Absolutely.
Without seeking the validation of everybody else in the universe, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And any international students can come right now. And question is, can you? So they're asking like, can international students come to Canada at the moment? Guys, we have answered that question before. Like the students, those who got visas before 18th of March are eligible to come. Rest, we are still waiting for the update from the government side, I guess.
Perfect. That's exactly the information that we are sharing.
Absolutely. So in general, is there anything you want to say to international students? Because you have this close experience with international students. One thing that you personally love about international students before we wrap up the conversation?
Look, I think, guys, you're so brave and courageous, first of all, for coming to Canada. You've left your parents. Very important, I think, here, stay connected with your families back home. Okay, number one, your parents are concerned about you. Number two, stay connected with your friends here.
True.
Okay, if there's any questions, bounce off ideas of your friends. Send emails to Check Johny Hands. If you're a student of Canada College, you know where to contact us.
Absolutely.
info@collegecanada.com. We answer all your questions as best as we can, okay?
True.
And if it's anything health related and you're a student of Canada College, you know where to reach us, okay?
Absolutely.
I will get connected with you. So be safe. Please respect the social distancing, right? That means if you don't need to go have a party, Okay, it's
Don't
not
do
the
that.
it's not the time.
It's not
to
the
do-
Christmas time.
Don't worry, there'll be lots of opportunities for socialization and these kinds of things. But it's an emergency, so please just try to stay at home as much as possible. Okay, wash your hands, guys. Very important.
True.
20 seconds. All right.
Yeah.
You've seen.
They're even giving there are videos from WHO which are especially on washing hands. Like it has to be like at least 20 seconds. Like that.
That's it. With soap and water, this thing will protect you. It'll protect other people.
Other people too.
All right. These are the main things I want you all to.
Well, thank you
consider.
so much, Dr. Charith, for all your knowledge and wisdom that you have shared with us. On that note, we would like to say thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, guys. I know like this was not like your regular, conversation that we have or regular live stream where we have a lot of questions. I know there were a lot of questions that I still could not answer at the moment. But yes, in our next live stream, we will take up more of your questions and answer. Of course, next live stream is in Punjabi. I know some of you are commenting here Punjabi Studio. But yes, we'll definitely stay in touch, and thank you so much for joining us today. This live stream will be available. Guys, it took us time to organize this because we wanted to get your health care related questions answered, and thank you so much to Dr. Charith for giving us time today. And Isin, I'll stay in touch. If you want to share this information with your friends, share this live stream video. It will be posted on our channel. And once again, as he said, in health insurance, very important. If you want to get health insurance as well, in the description of this video, we'll leave a link where you can go and buy it. And for any questions, you can leave your comments, and we'll try to make videos on that. Subscribe YouTube channel, check Johny Hans, hit bell button, and with that, Hasde Muskurande Roji, Rab Rakha.